Hey, thank you so much for tuning in to Instrumental Intel. I am your host, music producer Chick with Beats, and I've got a special episode for you today. I am back with part 2 of Perspectives of the Sound Selectors, Insights from DJs, featuring conversations that I've had with Raybone Jones and Rooted Sounds House Music, which includes DJ Milk D, BZ Reyes, and 804 Deep. So I'm excited to be bringing this episode to you, and before we go ahead and get started, I gotta give a shout out to my home station, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And now I'm gonna take a quick pause for the cause, and then I'll be right back after this. Keep it locked. Hey, I'm a Chick with Beats, multi-genre music producer and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit achickwithbeats.com for resources for artists and instrumentals in various genres available for songs, vlogs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's achickwithbeats.com. That's ACHICKWITBEATZ.com. Let's make something happen. I have in the virtual building with me today, Rooted Sounds House Music. Now, if you're not familiar, you definitely will be by the time we're done with this. But I mean, it's a collection of DJs / producers that know how to do their thing. And so, yeah, I'm really glad that they took the time out of their busy schedules to join me. And so if you could just give everybody a little bit of a taste of who you are, we'll kind of work around. We'll start with DJ Milk D, then go on to the rest after this.
Awesome. Chick with Beats, thank you for having us. And yes, of course, I'm DJ Milk D. I am the CEO of EuropeRadio.com. I live in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm so excited to be on your show and also to be with my two brothers, BZ Reyes and Tony Fernandez. Crazy thing is, a Chick with Beats and everyone that's listening, house music has always been my love. Never had the courage to really express that feeling until I really came to Richmond, Virginia. And hip hop will always be my first love, but I always loved house music and freestyle music. But moving to Richmond, Virginia, meeting DJ Ojo, shout out to DJ Ojo. He connected me to Tony Fernandez. I want to shout out Sean Boulevard, who connected me to BZ Reyes. And this trio of us began just at the whim. Of course, the love for house, but being a DJ, producer, mix engineer, Tony, the same thing. And here I am, a DJ learning to be a producer. They kind of have taken me under their wings a little bit. Also want to shout out Terry T-Schnig down in Florida, one of my resident DJs who lit the fire to be a producer 3 years ago. But I lean on BZ and Tony a lot in this producing career that I'm going down now. Being a DJ, like I've told you before on your show, is simple. But being a producer, making the song make sense is a challenge. So again, I lean on these two brothers and I have a lot of love and respect for them.
All right, that's what's up. All right, so Tony, I think you're up next. If you're willing to share a little bit about how you got into it and what you've been doing behind the scenes. Yeah,
sure. I'm Tony Fernandez. I just go by DJ Tony T. I've been DJing a very long time. I guess before the show started, we're talking about Gen X. I guess that's where I fall in. I've literally been spinning for over 40 years. I've been doing it for a very long time. Obviously, I love it. I grew up in New York. I'm glad to say that I'm a native New Yorker, and that foundation growing up there just really gave me the bedrock and exposure to music that I was able to bring down to Virginia, and it just kept up with me. When it comes to house music, it like Milk D says, it's my love. I was hearing house music and had an affinity for house music before I even knew what it really was. I grew up listening to it on the radio with the mixed DJs in New York, back in the day. I was too young to go to clubs back then, but I knew what they were. I would be that guy that would, listen to the Drive at 5 and all the mix show guys, and I'd be like, why aren't they playing those versions at lunchtime? I just kind of just had this affinity and this ear for music, and that love of music translated to me being a DJ. Ironically, I didn't become a DJ till I came to Virginia. So had I stayed in New York, I don't even know what would have happened.
Wow.
But yeah. And then, it's so funny being down here. Almost everybody that I know that's into house music at the level that we're at, they're all transplants. They're all from Jersey, they're all from Chicago, they're all from Detroit, they're all from, Michigan. I mean, they're all from DC. I mean, it's just
Connecticut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that. That's what's up.
Yeah, it's really funny. I mean, one of my best friends, he's from Jersey, and he's one of the guys who actually made it. I mean, he's
Smitty D.
I know him as Doug. He goes by Smitty D. He was with 95 North. They did a lot of work, on Strictly, a Motive, New Groove. I mean, that cat made it, so I was under his wing, when it came to the production thing. For me, it was kind of a natural progression. I kind of was under the delusion that I knew how to spin records. So it was like, I know how these beats kind of happen. Let's see if I can dip my toe in that pool. and honestly, it probably took me a solid year and a half to get to the point where I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And along the way, I really have to give a huge shout out not only to a Doug, who was so patient with me, and every time I came up with some rudimentary Sesame Street beat, he'd be like, oh yeah, that's great, you do it this way, and then I actually got involved with a production partner, Scott, who actually we unfortunately kind of, I shouldn't say broke up, we kind of split because he ended up moving. So he ended up going to California. He was in Florida for a while, and we actually are still in touch. And unfortunately, because of the distance, we kind of stopped doing production. But when we were in Virginia, I mean, being around him really opened me up to how music is made and how being in a studio works, and being able to wrap your head around, beats and song structure and how things flow. And again, he was super patient with me, and, he kind of, I guess, liked the way I was working in the studio, the sounds that I was kind of developing. He liked the way I DJ, and it was just this amalgamation of things coming together. And so it kind of grew for me organically. So I've been doing production off and on for about 20 plus years or so.
Nice.
I mean, I've had a few tracks signed. It's funny. Before I met Daryl Milk, I actually was on a dry spell. I mean, I would do edits for myself. I would do edits for friends of mine. I mean, I never really got big in it. At one point earlier and way back in my career, I actually was a Billboard panelist DJ, and I only bring that up because I wish I was more prolific as a producer back then than I am now. because when I was on the Billboard panel, oh my God, dude, the access that I had to the industry was ridiculous. I mean, it was, I mean, and if anybody's been doing production over, say, the past 5, if not 10 years, you've seen how the business has changed. I mean, it literally has gone from a record driven industry where you got to know somebody and you got to get in that pipeline and, try to sell widgets to, you can do it all on your own now, and again, that's a good and bad thing per se, mainly good, but back then, I mean, so we're talking in the mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. I just had insane access to the industry. Had I had it, like I said, had my production chops, higher up the food chain and my skill level higher while I was on the panel, I don't know, man. Life has been a lot different. So, but it's been really refreshing and so exhilarating, creatively, professionally, artistically, to meet up with BZ and meet up with Milk, because their sounds are a little different. And I actually talk to Milk more than I do to BZ, but like he says, every time he sends me a track, he's like, "Oh, dude, I just put this together and whatever." And being involved in the creative process, it's a super special and super intimate relationship. It's one thing when you're by yourself and you come up with an idea and you kind of work it out, iron out, bring it to you have the sounds in your head and whatever inspires you or makes you feel a certain way, so you kind of bring that idea to fruition. And when you're collaborating with somebody, it's different. I mean, the process can be the same, but it's different because you got another brain, another set of ears, you got another set of eyes, and they're bringing their flavor to the table. And it was funny, how we, my part of it, how we came together. It was like Daryl said, we have a mutual friend, Joe Ojo, and we would bump into each other like once every 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And I think Daryl was telling me that he was getting back into doing tracks. I'm like, you know what? I'm bored. And send me stuff, send me your stuff. And, if I like it, I'll flip it. And then we'll take it from there. You either like what I do or you don't like what I do. And we just move forward. And I vividly remember having a very candid conversation with him, basically saying, look, man, if we're going to go forward in this creative process, we just have to be bluntly honest. We really got to be like, look, this track you sent me is, can we curse? I mean, not that I want to. I just, I'm trying. But it's like, this track is the ish. This thing's awesome. I'm feeling it. Let me see what I can do to it. Or, this track is no. It's not me do what I want to do with it. And to his credit, I will say he's been crazy prolific. Sending me stuff, like, I just came up with this, or I had this in the back burner, or this was an old track of mine I just, drug out from the back corner of the closet. And, and if I got the time, I'll just, do what I do to it. And so far, he's liked everything I've done. So, I kind of take a really unique approach, when it comes to remixing, especially if it's other people's, stuff. If it's my stuff, I mean, I hope it doesn't sound weird or hypocritical. When I come up with a track and I give it to the guys, I'm like, run with it, dude. I got my idea of how I came up with it, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you take my idea and go deep left field with it, have at it.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh no, that's whack," because that wasn't my vision. Because guess what? It wasn't. It's your vision.
Right.
So and I kind of developed that workflow with my old partner. There were a lot of times, and as I said, Daryl reminds me of my old partner. Like I said, he was so prolific. I mean, we would literally probably hook up back then 3 days out the week, and each session we would work on like 3-4 tracks.
Wow,
it was ridiculous.
Well, Tony, I'm gonna cut you off for a second, because I'm gonna tell you what, BZ, he be telling me to pump the brakes, because I'm gonna tell you what, if it wasn't for BZ, Tony, we'd have 100 tracks. My brother BZ, right? He's a silent assassin. Like, when he talks, he'll tell you blunt, honest, like, yo, man, first and foremost, you need to put a hi-hat in there. I love BZ. I love both of you guys. Love these two guys. And Tony, I didn't mean to cut you off, but BZ, I know want you to be able to get in what you have to say, but Tony, if it wasn't
y'all can
for
keep talking. I'm kind of quiet on the quiet side anyway.
When Tony said what he said about being prolific, and yes, I may be, and my foot's to the pedal, but Tony, BZ keeps me grounded. I'm already trying to get our second EP out. We produced like 23 tracks this year, fellas. 23 tracks.
That's
and
phenomenal.
I'm just like over the moon, everyone, on how productive we've been, from BZ mastering, mixing, implementing the vocals where they need to go to make it make sense. Tony remixing my tracks. We getting these record deals with Jump Beat and G Mafia and Ulysses, just so many labels. And I can't be more blessed to have met these two guys. BZ has about 100 tracks that he hasn't put out yet.
And bag him, man. Tag him.
he's got some bangers. And Tony, I'm gonna tell you what, bro.
Real quick though, Get Down Funk. Yeah, that's one of my favorites right now.
Okay.
Okay. I kind of got that in rotation.
Very first track.
Yep, that's BZ.
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm gonna cut you off, but yeah, go ahead.
Where's Tony go? He's still there?
Oh yeah, no. I'm here. Yeah, no. It's just our dynamic. I mean, and I think that's what's scary is our dynamic is what it is, and even though I know BZ lives out in Tidewater, so for us that's about an hour and a half away. I'm in Richmond. Daryl's still a little bit away from me, so it's not like back in the day, like I said, with my partner, where we would actually hook up at my house because I had a project studio, and we would physically have to be in the same room, and try to crank stuff out. It's again that the technology and the dynamic of how we work has really changed and evolved, and the scary part is we're just getting started. We've only been at this, like you said, what, 6-8 months, if that. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I need to hear some of these bags and tag tracks from BZ.
Okay.
So
I'm spark something right here. I love it. Y'all heard it here first, man. Right here on Instrumental and Tell.
Yeah.
Drones over his house. I can check it out.
Yeah.
Drones over Jersey.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's not a song out right now. Like, who's gonna wait?
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have one. Hey, BZ, I'll send you the vocals. Hey, speaking of that, look, song called Music Meets Al Capone.
Oh.
Asked Tony to remix it. Like I created it. Tony remixed it. I put my vocals on it. Shout out to DJ Al Capone.
Hold on. I put the vocals on that.
I put my vocals out there, and he put
I put your vocals on that. Okay, there you go.
He said, "Let's get it straight."
Yeah.
See, I knew you wasn't shy, BZ.
I
loosen up a little bit.
Far from shy, let me tell you.
But these two guys right here, I met Tony through Daryl. I'm BZ Reyes. Just to formally introduce myself, I'm a transplant from Connecticut. Okay. I'm from Connecticut. Norwalk, Connecticut, which is 50 miles from New York City. Our train ride into Manhattan.
All right.
So that's how we were blessed. Because anything that happens in Manhattan bleeds into Stamford, Connecticut, and into Norwalk, Connecticut. Then in Bridgeport, it starts losing its little flavor, and then New Haven is going a different way in New Haven. It's a whole different thing in New Haven. But house music's always been a love, but music in general, being Boricua, we salsa, merengue, all that stuff. My music definitely heavy on the congos and bongos. you ask Daryl.
Oh yeah.
Freestyle, hip hop. Hip hop was always a thing. I grew up in the bricks, so hip hop was always a thing. But when house just hit the scene, it was a rap. It was just a rap. I remember going into New York City. We were buying records at Tower Records, and then we went to one of these little side shops, off the books type of place, where they always had a DJ playing music. Soho Hot, my anthem. They were playing that. It was a rap. It was like, I'm in love with this stuff. My boys had equipment. We started DJing together. We would just do parties, and that back in the days you could do block parties and stuff like that. We can't do that stuff anymore, and that's where the culture and everything from New York and people from New York were coming into Norwalk because it was only an hour ride.
Yeah.
So I started producing. I was producing and dabbling in Fruity Loop Studios back when it was just Fruity Loops.
Yeah. The OG. Yeah,
OG Fruity Loops. And then I went to Croatia with, shout out to Sean and my boy T.
Defected.
They went to the Defected Festival, and that really kind of ignited a spark. Back in, I bought a new controller. I got back into DJing. They was like, "Oh, you should try producing." So, Get Down Funk. I worked on that for probably like a month because I was unsure if I wanted to release it, and it was like, and then I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna release stuff and start releasing stuff. But now I'm still doing that. I'm going, and I bag it and I leave it to the side. I literally have like 10, 12 tracks. Just sitting around. I do play them though.
Okay.
I play them.
You do.
Well, yeah, I mean, just think about all the people that be listening and they try to Shazam. Like, what if it was just out there for them to find?
Yeah, the last time I did DJ in DC, and he's like, I was trying to Shazam 2 of those tracks, and I couldn't. I was like, oh, I'll send them to you, bro. Those are off the books.
Yeah.
But meeting up with these two guys and their passion for producing, and Milk, he's full pedal to the metal. That he's go. Yo, listen to this. I was working on this yesterday. I was working on this. I'm like, wow, okay, okay. Can I put my vocals on this? And then he keeps the fire lit under this group because you know what? He was already. Let's go. Let's do the second EP. I'm with it. I have enough tracks. I could just go. Dust this one off. Here you go. take that one. He was like, oh well, Tony remixed this. I'm like, when did you guys do this? And when did this happen? 24 hours later, fast. I got 2 tracks I'm working on. Okay, all right, cool. Let's do this. So I love the energy. The energy's there. The love for house is there. We're all passionate.
That's what's up.
And he dragged me into this kicking and screaming. No.
So, okay, I got a question for each of you. Man, I hate the time is running out so quickly. We got to do this again. But if you could pinpoint one particular house song that kind of sparked your interest, your passion for house music, what would it be? Or even if it's not a particular song, but, you know, an artist, group, whatever the case is.
I can answer that real easy for me. I'll try to keep the story short. I was in Virginia and ended up at literally at the drop of a hat. Doug Smith from 95 North, who I just mentioned, we ended up being like, "Yo, there ain't nothing going on down here. Let's go to New York." And we literally drove from Richmond to Manhattan, picked up his production partner in Baltimore, and we went on a Tuesday night to Sound Factory Bar in New York. And walked in because it was Tuesday night, so it was Louis Vegas night, and at Sound Factory Bar, and we parked and were walking in at 11:45, and we walked in, and I lost my ish. Because when we walked in, Louis Vega is spinning his stuff, and over in the corner is some dude playing keyboards, and I'm like, what mix is this? Like, I'm hearing like some crazy Latin tribal beat stuff going on, and I'm hearing Plastic Dreams on top of it. And it has people losing their minds. And I'm like, oh snap, there's a dude in the corner playing Plastic Dreams right now.
Wow.
And that was David Cole from CNC Music Factory.
Wow.
And people were losing their ish. And what
Jim's tone.
And if that wasn't bad enough, the song that really made me go like, this is it, man. This is it. This is how this stuff is supposed to be. Was when Louis Vega dropped House of Gypsies, Sum Sa Se. It was a rap. It was a rap. It was a rap. And then later on, actually, that night, I'll never forget this either. Epilogue, and BZ talking about going to New York and buying records. So later on in the night, Louis playing Voices in My Mind, which was that vocal house record that has Barbara Tucker on it, Robert Owens on it. I mean, it has the three biggest vocalist guys, people at the time. And we're losing our minds. The next day, I call Vinyl Mania, and I'm like, yo, I need 2 copies of Voices.
Give me all the copies you have.
I'm like, man, shut up. Nobody's got that record yet. Louis only got that record. That record ain't coming out for another 3 months. And he was right, too.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
BZ,
it was Sum Sa Se for me.
BZ, I'm gonna go last. You go next, bro.
No, I already said my anthem. My anthem is Soho Hot. It'll always be Soho Hot.
All right.
Well, BZ, tell everybody what mine is. You already know it is. You said I can't play it no more.
Oh, wait, which one? Wait, which one? No. You gotta clear it up.
He got a few that he can't play
Cashmere.
anymore.
Which one is it?
There's 2 Cashmere tracks. He loves to play it. I don't know. You pick one.
He said you banned either way.
It's Percolator.
Okay.
1992.
Yes. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's what got me really with house. Percolator.
Okay. Being from Michigan, I feel you on that. Low key for me, I think it might have been Hard Drive. Deep Inside.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
That's an anthem.
The whole Ghetto Tech era had me in the chokehold. I'm not gonna lie. I was old enough to go to like the teen clubs and stuff. So yeah, Ghetto Tech was that was my kryptonite for a minute.
Hey, Chick with Beats, how much time we have left? I know it's getting close, right?
Yeah. We got about 5 minutes.
So I want to say real quick, because Tony don't really know you. A Tone, a chick with beats, straight fire producer, bro. You need to follow her on Instagram, follow her on Spotify, and she knows what you mean, BZ and Tony, about me Full Throttle, because we did a track and I've been blowing her up like, when we gonna get this track out?
I know. I'm so sorry. As soon as we can, I promise.
No. But
no rush.
This track that she did is called "The Work," and it is fire. As soon as I heard it, I was like, I gotta put vocals on it.
Yeah. I had released the instrumental like a while ago on my own, but the house label that I've been working with was interested once I shared the version with DJ Milk D's vocals on it. He was like, yo, yeah, we need to put this out. So
nice.
We'll definitely keep everybody posted as soon as I have more information. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear it, because you know me, if I like it, I'll flip it.
You know what? And that's another thing. Like, I'm really big on that. So I don't really consider myself a singer at all. But when it comes to house music, I'll still do it anyway, because it's all about the vibe. And so a lot of times I love, just like what you were saying, Tony, about like, you know, just flip it, do whatever. So like once I put it out, I'd love for other DJs to get their hands on it. I'd love to hear what people would do. And half the time, they make me sound better because they actually put my vocals in key compared to my originally.
Go ahead, girl. No.
I'm sure it's not that bad.
She's being very modest. No. She's being modest.
I said before, I hide behind harmonies, but no, I am not a vocalist. I know that, but I'm okay with that. You know, like my whole thing is to inspire other artists. So as long as I can get you to hear what I was trying to accomplish, maybe you'll hit me up and be like, yo, I want to try this too. So yeah. But
that's kind of how it got started. It was trying to get my boys from Defected. I mean, that we went to Defected, Sean, and to get the spark the fire under. Daryl sparked the fire under me. I sparked the fire under them. They're still like, you know, holding on to stuff. But every once in a while, they'll throw me a track and be like, listen to this. Oh, okay. I was like, let's go. Let's do something. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And then I never hear from them for like a month. I won't hear another track for a month, but you know, this is fun. It's an experience. I encourage everybody to get into making music. My son actually is the one who actually bought Fruity Loops Producer Edition. I updated it and upgraded it. And I was like, really? You're making music? His music is more video game jungle type music, but he's getting the following and he's getting into me. I was like, all right, well, you know, your pops is already into music, so if you ever need advice or something, and we could do something together, or if I have to spin your music, which would probably give me an earache, but I will.
That's dope, BZ.
Yeah, man. And that field is still growing. I mean, you know, I read a lot of music industry news, and the whole video game production. That's gonna be a whole. I mean, it's already huge, but it's gonna be bigger for sure.
I pray he does well in it. So I pray we do well in this coming year, 2025, for all of us.
Yep.
Yes.
Let's go. Let's get it.
All right. So we're in a little stretch here at the end, but I want to make sure that everybody knows where they can follow you guys, keep up with what you got going, and then I'm already advocating for a part 2, just because this went by so quickly. But yeah, if you could, within a minute, kind of let everybody know where they can find you, follow your music, all that good stuff.
Go ahead, BZ. You first, then Tony, then I'll go last.
No, you go ahead and just do it for everybody, because you're the mouthpiece, baby. Let's go.
All right. Well, you know, we're called Rooted Sounds House Music. We have music on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, all the platforms. We have tracks individually out. So I want you to follow Tony Fernandez, who is 804 Deep. That is D for dog, EEP for Paul. And then BZ Reyes, that is B for boy, Z, REYES, BZ Reyes. And then DJ Milk D, check our music out. We have some fire music out there.
I have in the virtual building with me today, Ray Bone. I mean, one of the illest DJs I've ever seen. But yeah, if you could, well, first of all, let me say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and talk with me. But if you could, just let the listeners know a little bit, who is Ray Bone Jones, like how you got into DJing, your connection with music, and all that good stuff.
Okay, so what up, though, to everybody? Can everybody hear me?
Oh, yeah, you good.
All right, good. What up, though, again, everybody from Detroit, from all of the states, all over the world. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have you interview me. And it's a lot of things that you and maybe the world can figure out from me that, they've been asking and wondering. And I'm willing to disclose a lot of those things. So I've been DJing now for over 40 years. My music production, I could say, will probably start at underground and getting everything together. I would probably say maybe about 98. I really didn't start pushing everything out until maybe like early 2000s. That's when maybe about 2002 or 3 after I had my website. It's not up. Because that was in 2000s. That was a couple decades of 2000s. Yeah. I'm currently doing music now. Currently DJing. I'm getting back into traveling. Music production. I just released another EP on Moves and Grooves. That's my second EP on Moves and Grooves. I featured on a compilation from Theo Parrish, collaborating with DJ Kicks. And the title of the track I did is called Green Funk on the compilation. That's a beautiful compilation. If you haven't had it, you should pick it up because a lot of good Detroit artists, new artists as well, as opposed to veteran or OG or legend artists, if you want to call it. So he has a gumbo of, new talent, old talent, and then some other talent that he decided that he wanted to put on the compilation.
Beautiful. All right. So you say you've been DJing for over 40 years.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what your first DJ set was like and how that felt to actually play?
Well, was it my first professional or was it my first just...
Whichever one meant the most to you.
Well, both of them meant the most to me.
Okay. We can talk about both then.
Okay, that's good. The first one was my very first one, and that was for it was a friend of mine. Now we can say girlfriend, but we wasn't dating and nothing like that. You can say like, because now, back when I was coming up, we say your girlfriend.
Yeah.
That was just a female friend you had that was a girl.
Right.
Right. But anyways, she had a sweet 16 birthday party. And she asked me to DJ. And of course, this was with Rutgers. And so I played her birthday party. Everybody had a good time. amongst our age and the parents. That's what was so shocking because, they usually, y'all do y'all birthday party and we gonna go ahead and we come out and replace whatever needs to be replaced and check up. But it was so funny because the parents started dancing so along with the kids. So that was cool. And that was something that was really like, intriguing to me because I already had a passion for music because of my parents. They were very heavily involved in music, when I was younger. So, now I'm getting to that point and now I can see like, okay, this is really something that I do enjoy and it's something that I can wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so from that point, doing that for her, that was my very first, party in front of people. Because now, you can get a laptop with technology, that's different. But,
Right.
With going back then and like really realizing like I could really do something, you know what I'm saying? And people really enjoying exactly the type of music I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So that was a plus. And I believe the second time was when I was older and I had the opportunity to play again at my early 20s, maybe like 21, 22. So now I'm leaving, the teenage status, and now I'm old enough to go into like bars and clubs now and rock it on a next level.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because we're adults now.
Yeah.
And that was a beautiful thing too, because now that lets me know that, from the little boy that I was doing something to now becoming a young man, that I could still, the passion and what I was doing, everything was on its way and it was the right way.
Okay, man. Yeah, that sounds like a good feeling. But yeah, especially to be able to get the kids and the adults dancing at the same time, like that's no easy feat.
No, it's not. No. Because think about this, and it's so funny now because when you look at the younger generation now, and then now their parents is trying to get into what their kids are. You know what I mean? As opposed, we were younger and we trying to get into what our parents were, listening to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, speaking of parents, you mentioned that they were heavily involved in music. What did that look like as a kid coming up? Like, how did that get ingrained in you? Kind of watching and observing what they were doing.
Well, it goes back to saying like with them, as me being like a little kid, my dad might be at work, mom's at home, and she's cleaning up, cooking dinner, getting everything together, and she's playing her music on records, on the record player, while she's cleaning the house, while she's cooking dinner, and all of those things, right?
Yeah.
So as a little kid, you listening to that, what I mean? And you helping along and, and then when my dad got home, he would play some of the records he would play, or if my mom would hang out with her girlfriends and, it's just me and my dad and, and he might want to put on some records or, it's just about the parents that just, switching up, putting on what they wanted to feel and what records that they wanted to jam to or just vibe to. And, think about what my parents was that they were not just parents that like kind of stuck on like one genre of music.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So my parents were uh, well-rounded in music.
Okay.
You know, whether it be jazz, whether it be soul, funk, groove, disco. They listened to a lot of other artists that were out of their realm of listening to music. If you understand what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? So, and which was a good thing because that taught me how to appreciate music that's outside of funk, jazz, groove, you know what I mean? To what I was normally the typical.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, so it just helped me grow and love music in a lot of different genres than just being stuck in one or two genres or this was the popular music that, we should be listening to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally feel like, especially for production, that's incredibly helpful.
Oh yeah, that definitely helps. That definitely helps in production because, it definitely helps in production because you can go in so many different directions and so many different ways, and your creativity level can be just so heightened, you know what I mean, as opposed to just being, stuck into maybe one or two or three genres of music or just one, you know what I mean?
Right. Because I've had discussions like this with hip hop producers before, where, sometimes that's what people just tend to listen to. And it's like, well, if you want to make good hip hop, you can make better hip hop if you listen to more than just hip hop. So yeah, like you got to expand your palette.
Well, and this what's so funny that you mentioned that is because now it's a whole totally different ball game. But back then, even when I was coming up, you had a lot of hip hop artists, and they started. This is like early hip hop I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They understood, a lot of range of music from their parents.
Yeah.
So they could sit back and listen to their parents' records, and then they knew what certain parts to sample.
Yes.
And those records, a lot of times that they would sample, they were kids coming up listening to those samples that have been great samples in those older records.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? To where now they have made hits out of them, and some of those hits are still decades strong.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. One of the first rap songs that I remember my mom kind of liking was when Run DMC collaborated with Aerosmith.
Yeah,
prime
example, and that was see, once you started getting off into that, and then that was when they did that was a experimental project for them, and that was the reason why that was, I think, one of the iconic songs from them is because they wanted to branch out their sound. So it's almost kind of like we building and making noise in the U.S. And we want to have our sound and our act get exposed to a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's about growing. So they couldn't just come with the regular stuff. So they had to come with some rock to add a lot of more flavor into. It's about being versatile sometimes. You can't always just stick with the same thing.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying about is being exposed to so many different type of music that you can understand how you can move, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, because I think that a lot of the producers that are more successful actually understand that. So, and having those conversations and trying to get people to, dream a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool that you, yeah.
Yeah, you have to, because that's the only way that you're gonna elevate.
Yeah.
You have to dream bigger, and you have to have the passion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have the passion for it, you're not gonna dream better. You're not gonna dream bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You could say, well, I made these beats and I'm making beats and everybody like your beats is hot, but how are you getting the people around you and beyond to hear your beats, to understand your beats, to say that, yeah, you hot.
Right.
Yeah,
and especially by absorbing more, it kind of gives you a little more texture, which kind of helps you stand out, because there are a lot of people making beats these days. So how do you get people to listen to you? If you're still doing the same thing that everybody else is doing,
exactly,
then you're not going to stand out.
So I have a quote for you.
All right.
The quote is, if you have more, you can do more. See what I'm saying? So if you have, the more you have around you and the more you observe, the more you can do better. Because you have so many options to go in whatever direction you want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like with me, if I wake up in the morning and I'm feeling like kind of jazzy, mellowy, you know what I mean? So I might do a jazz or, something on that. If I get up and I'm hype and this and that, or if I'm feeling that way, I'm making a hype track. I'm making a uppity dance track. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not just, okay, I'm getting up and I'm gonna make a track and it's just gonna be, I just made that track.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I try to get a lot of people to understand, is that, okay, you can make a track. That's making a track. But when you really put more of your creativity and your passion into your track, you start to understand and let people understand where you're coming from and how you come in. You know what I mean? And then everything else, falls into play.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Could you talk a little bit about, so you started with DJing, and then once you expanded into production, what was that particular transition like for you? Was it, just inspiration struck? Like, how'd you begin to produce after you started DJing?
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you this. Production, while I was DJing, it was always there, but it wasn't as serious at the time, because I was so caught up into DJing, and I'm here, there on DJing. But I was still working and developing, you know what I mean, my production situation, because I had a lot of my peers that were getting on to that, and they were like, yo, dog, you need to follow this flow. But I'm like, I feel you, but no, I'm into the DJ flow still. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then once I started seeing them start really putting projects together and start building and start, elevating on that next level, I was like, whoa, maybe this is something I need to really look at again. And, and it worked out, Yeah. It worked out because I saw that, and, they tapped me on the shoulder, you know what I mean? Because they ain't really have to say this, because It's the funny thing about it, y'all. Woo! That era after Juan. Okay. We're gonna say this. In that era with Juan, Kevin, Eddie, Greg, Juan, all the Belleville three, Juan, Kevin, Derek. Then you got Craig. Then you got Eddie Folks, Blake Baxter, and the list goes on. But it stopped after them, and they should have been, because they had a whole bunch of soldiers and a whole bunch of people that was under them that they should have brought on. That was sweet. But now, over time, them people still are gonna break through, and they have broke through. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the generation of the next generation, outside of the big three, outside of their generation, the next generation was Three Cheers. Yeah, so that's my generation. Okay. And that's our generation. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, Kenny, Theo, Marcellus, Rick Will Height, we all knew each other. Gary Chandler's, all of them we saw what was going on, and we was a whole totally different beast that was coming next, the next wave that the world and they wasn't seeing. They didn't see until they saw. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's how, all of that, you know what I'm saying? All of that spawns in, I guess, a periodical time, as things elevate and things move on.
You said, yeah, you said they didn't see until they saw. I kind of want to slow walk that one a little bit because, on social media, you see people often complaining about people from where they're from not appreciating their artistry. Everybody always blames it on their city, but if you notice, every single city says it. So, if you could.
No, not to cut you off, but you want to know why every city says it?
Because it's universal. But yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Sister. There you go, sister.
It's because universal.
It happens in every situation that is happening in. And it takes people to come together to say, you know what? F that.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say the original, I'm going to be light with it, but, F that. Because now we can't worry about that. Right. We got to worry about the future. That's the past. Yeah. That's why I have no problem. I told you that from day one when I first met you, and you told me you was working on beats.
Yeah.
You hear me? And do you remember what I told you?
I do.
All right. And look where you at. And look what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? That's the positiveness that we need to pass on to the younger generation or just to our peers, period, to wake this situation up. You know what I'm saying? Because we have a lot of great talent in all of our pockets.
Yeah.
I don't give if it's just Michigan. I don't care if it's Ohio. I don't care if it's New York. I don't care. Even if overseas. I don't care if it's even South Africa. Look at how South Africa is coming now.
Yes.
Wasn't nobody even thinking about South African dealing with this house music or whatever genre and hire all these other genres they are coming up with.
All right, and that's a wrap for this episode of Instrumental Intel. I've been your host, music producer Chick with Beats, and I want to thank you for tuning in. Once again, as always, I appreciate the guests for coming on and sharing their insights. And I'd like to thank my home station, Grander Radio, out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Make sure you come back next week. I got more goodness lined up for you. So till next time, you know where to find me. Tune in, tell a friend, and I'll see you then. Peace.